Hello my lovelies, welcome back to my channel. This is your girl Angel from Simply Angel Tia. In this video we're gonna be working on this beautiful skirt, and as you can see here, this is gonna be something that I will explain in very simple way, and it's obviously as usual gonna be beginner friendly. So if you're a beginner, this is something you can do very easily. I will explain it in detail on how you can do it. We're using multiple stitches here. As you can see, we have the waistband that we will do the half double crochet in the back loop, and then we have the top part of the skirt that is going to be in half double crochet, and then of course we finish it up with the V-stitch in the bottom. Okay, so very easy. You can obviously do this in any colors you want. I chose to do this variegated color here, but you can choose any colors of your choice. You can do it in one solid color, in multiple colors, however you want. And as well, you can choose for this to be a length that you want. Mine is, I was hoping for it to be a long skirt that will go all the way to my ankles, but because of the amount of yarn I had left, I was able to do it to be just a little bit below my knees, a little bit more below my knees, but that's pretty much, it looks nice, so no complaints there. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and gather all the materials that I need for this, and I'll go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so for this project I'm gonna show you all the materials that I'm using, and as you can see here, this is the yarn I'm gonna be using for this project. It is Allison and May sparkled yarn, 100% polyester, and a skein like this is 150 grams or 263 meters. For this size here, you need to have 3.5 or to 4 millimeter crochet hook. You could substitute it depending on what you are making and things like that, but that is what is the recommended hook size. Okay, for the color number is 58617, but as you can see, it's like variegated yarn like that. Okay, so for crochet hook size, I'm gonna be using a 5 millimeter crochet hook or H8 US. That is just because I would like to make my project a little bit on the loose side, so I'm gonna use a little bit of a bigger hook size. I have my scissors here. I have some stitch markers, a darning needle, as well as the scissors. So these are the basic things you're gonna need for this project. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay my lovelies, so to get this project started, we're gonna work on the band of the project first. So this is a skirt obviously, and you're gonna need just to make the band first. So we're gonna go ahead and leave a little bit of a tail hanging like this, and then we're going to go ahead and begin by doing a slip knot. And just for those of you who are maybe using different yarns, so as you can see, this yarn has, the strands are all separate like this. So it's not a very easy yarn to use in terms of making sure you're keeping an eye on all these little strands, but just make sure you're keeping everything straight. Okay, so I do my slip knot like this, and then I'm gonna begin by doing a chain of 13. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. So this is going to be the width of my band here. If you want your width to be a little bit longer, make more chains, and if you want it to be shorter or smaller, do less chains. Okay, now I'm gonna skip this chain where my working yarn is coming out of, and in the next one from there, I'm gonna yarn over, grab the back loop of that stitch like this, and then I'm gonna complete a half double crochet just like this. Okay, again, because of this yarn, you have to be very careful. The strands are all over the place. So as you can see here, I have to go through this little strand as well, like that. Okay, and then I will yarn over again. I will grab the back of the next stitch like this, and then complete a half double crochet, and then grab the next, go into the next one, and then go ahead and complete a half double crochet. So as you can see, normally for a band I use single crochet for this part here, for those of you who are members of the channel, but just to change things a little bit, and especially because this yarn is not a very big yarn, it's actually a lightweight number 3, I'm just gonna go ahead and complete the half double crochets as opposed to single crochets that I usually do. Okay, and it's gonna make the band a little bit on the loose side as well. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and complete this, going along all the stitches that I have here. At the end I should have 12 stitches because I skipped that first one to complete the first stitch. And then from there on, we're gonna go ahead and work on the rest of the band. And I'm gonna show you how to do the second row, maybe the third row, and then I will explain how you can work to get the size that you want for yourself or the person that you're working to make this for. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just in my second last stitch here. And again, because of this yarn, you have to be a little bit careful just working along the work like this. Make sure the strands are not being all carried different, on different sides of this. So this is what it should look like for your first row. And then to start the second row, I'm going to do a chain one. This chain one does not count as a stitch. I'm gonna turn, and in that very first stitch right here, I'm gonna go ahead and yarn over, go into the back loop of that stitch, and I'm gonna complete a half double crochet. And then I'm gonna yarn over, go into the back of the next stitch, grab the back loop, and complete on the half double crochet. And then I just continue doing half double crochets in the back loop of my half double crochets from the previous row. And I will do these all the way to the end. For the final one, I will work just in the I'll go through both loops. So instead of doing the back loop only like I'm doing the rest of them here, I'm gonna go ahead and do both loops for the final one. Okay, so I'll show you what I'm talking about. And that's just a preference, just so it's just something that I do when I work on these things. You can obviously just go through the back loop for all of your stitches, but for me, I do go through both loops for that final stitch. Okay, and as you can see, because I'm using a bigger hook size than what is recommended, you do see that it's a little bit loose as well, which is exactly what I'm aiming to go for. Okay, and so I have my final stitch here. I'm gonna go ahead and go through both loops of that final stitch, just like this. Then I'm gonna complete my half double crochet like that. Okay, so this is my second row. It should look like that. And then if you go ahead and start the next row, you chain one and turn. So each row of the band, you're gonna start by chaining one, and the chain one does not count as a stitch. So you will yarn over, and in the very next stitch, in the very first stitch there, you're gonna go ahead and complete a half double crochet in the back loop, and then go and complete the next one in the back loop, and then just grab the back loop again, complete the next one. And like I said, you should have 12 stitches all together that you're working with. So every so often count to make sure you have the right number of stitches, because you don't want to lose or add more, because then it's going to make your band kind of lose its shape a little bit, and it's going to either become too thin in some sections or too wide in some sections, and you don't want that to be the case. Okay, so as you can see, I'm just coming to an end here. I'm going to finish this row with you, and then I'm going to explain how you can get the size that you're looking for, and how many maybe how long you have to do it for based on your size or the person you're making it for. Okay, so this is my second last one, and then my last one is right here. I'm gonna go through both loops just like that. Okay, so that's my row 3, and so I'm gonna stop here. So you will go ahead and chain one, turn, and then start the next row, and you're gonna continue building the band until you have the width that or the length of it is going to be what the circumference of the biggest part of your hips is. So what I do, for example, for mine, I measure my hips, the widest part of my hips, I use inches. And for me, it comes up to usually about 38 to 40. So I make a band that extends. When I stretch it as much as I can stretch it, it should come up to that number. Okay, so that's how you will find out how much to do, how long to do it for. And you're going to keep measuring your work until you have the size that you're looking for yourself. When you are done that, come back to the video. I will do the same, and then I will show you guys what to do next. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed the length that I want here for my band. So as you can see, this is where we started together here, and I just worked all these rows here. So altogether for my size, I have about 64 rows, 64 rows, which is going to be the size that I'm looking for. So when I really extend this or really stretch it and then I measure it, I get about 38 inches. And my widest part of my hips is usually between 38 and 40. So I decided to stop at 38, okay? So I'm gonna go ahead and show you then how to join. So all you'll have to do is just fold it in half like this, And then you should have the string that you had left behind, just like I showed you at the beginning. You should have it hanging like this, and you're going to take your darning needle, and we're going to use this string here to join the two parts or the two sides of our band together, so then we can work on the rest of the project. Okay, so I just take my darning needle and I take the yarn and I just push it through the hole like this. Okay, and then I have lined up my work like that. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna join this section here. So at first I'll go into this very first stitch here, and I'll line it up with the other side. Then I'll pull, then I'll do it one more time in that same spot like this. Okay, and then now for the remaining stitches, I'm going to grab the outside loop on this side, and then I'm going to grab the inside on the other side. Okay, so the closest to you on both sides, and then I will do the same for the next. And at this point I just line up my stitches so they all kind of match up, and that way you don't have to worry about where to which loop to grab and things like that. So you should have 12 stitches all together here that you're joining. The first one you went through both loops to join, and then the next 10 you go through just the loops that as I'm showing you here. And then for the last one, like I will show you, we're gonna go through both. Just like that. And then for the final one, we go through both loops. I'm gonna do it one more time here, and I'm gonna loop my yarn around like this, and then I can pull it through. Oh, and I need to bring the yellow one in because they both got stuck, the yellow and the red. Just like that. Okay, my lovely, so I just joined the work here. So now I have the band that is completed like this. And so now I'm going to use my yarn that I had left here, which is my working yarn, to then continue working on the rest of the work here. So I will just bring that in and pull it. Okay, just like that. And as you can see, so this is the band completed here. And so we're gonna go ahead and start working on the rest of the project here. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna do a chain one, and then in that same stitch I'm going to go ahead and complete a half double crochet, just like that. And then I'm gonna go into all the spaces here and complete half double crochets. And as you can see, I'm saying spaces, not stitches, and the reason for that is because we don't have actual stitches to work into. So we just kind of we kind of space ourselves out properly here and just kind of go into spaces that make sense and complete our half double crochets. Okay, just like that. Then you're gonna go somewhere here, and you're gonna do this all around until you come back to where we just started off here, right here. And when you get back to here, come back to the video, and I will show you how to start the next. And then it's just gonna be a repeat of the same stitch until we get to the length of what we're looking for. Okay, but for now, just complete your half double crochets around. When you get back to here, come back to the video and I will show you what to do for the next part. Okay, my lovelies, so I have just worked myself around here, and as you can see, this is how it looks like so far. And so I'm just going to work a stitch right here. Okay, I'm just gonna hold this guy to the side like this. I'm gonna work a stitch right there, And then I'm going to go ahead and work another stitch right here. Just gonna make a space. There's no actual stitch, but I'm gonna make a space somewhere here to do a stitch. Oh, actually it's just too tight, so I'm gonna do 2 stitches right here. So I'm gonna go here, do a stitch, and then I'll do another one right into the same one. Okay, just because this gap here was a little bit too big. And then so now this is our chain 1 that we had right here to start the row. I'm gonna go ahead and just go into that chain 1 stitch, and I'm gonna go ahead and complete a slip stitch like that. Okay, so that completes 1 row for the skirt. And then I'm gonna go ahead and do a chain 1 again. I'm gonna flip at this time, and then so I just turn my work, and then I'm gonna go ahead, this again doesn't count as a stitch, and I'm gonna go ahead and go into that stitch and complete a half double crochet. And then I'm gonna go into the next stitch and complete a half double crochet. And from this point on, your stitches are just you can work into your stitches, so you don't have to work it in any weird gaps. You just go right into your stitches and work your stitches. Okay, so you're gonna do this all around again until you come back to here. I'm gonna show you how to do 1 more row. So just finish this all the way to the end, come around until you come to the beginning here, and then come back to the video, and I'll show you how to start the next. And then I'll have you guys pretty much work the rest of the project here until we have to do the slit, because we're going to be doing a slit with this skirt. So I'm going to have you guys work until you have you've reached a point where we're going to do a slit, and then you can come back at that time. Okay, but for now, just come back when you reach here so I can show you how to do start 1 more row, and then we can move on from there. Okay, see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my 2nd row here. So as you can see, I just got back to the beginning of the row. So I'm gonna do my final stitch right here. Okay, and then again there's this chain 1 that we had started the row with that I will just go ahead and slip stitch on like that. Okay, so this is how it should look for now. Okay, so this is your 2nd row, and we're gonna continue to work just by repeating what I just showed you guys here until you have the length that you want before you start the slit. Okay, so again I just do a chain 1 and I turn, and as I turn I flip my work so it's easier to work with it like this. And then I just go ahead and continue doing my half double crochets in every stitch around until I come back to the beginning here. I will slip stitch on the chain 1 and then chain 1, turn, and then repeat. And then when I have the size that I want before I start the slit, I will come back to the video so I can show you how to do the slit part. Okay, so work on your work like this, and then come back when you have completed this part of the project. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and worked the skirt here. So as you can see, I worked the number of rows that I wanted to before I start a slit. And as you can see, this is pretty much, let me do it like this. So this is pretty much how long it is. It just the reason I did to this length is because I wanted it to be able to cover before I have a slit. So I'm going to be doing a slit on the side, and this slit you can have it in the front or the back depending on how you like to wear it, but that's how you're going to do it. Okay, so this is the length. I did about 34 rows of the half double crochet. And I tried it on is the length that I want before I add a slit. Now I have gone and completed my 34th row here, and as you can see, I have reached here. I've done my final half double crochet there. Now I was actually initially thinking of just doing a slit but continuing with the same stitch, but I think it's just gonna look too plain, and I think it's gonna look a little bit nicer if we do a different stitch for the rest of the skirt down after doing the slit, but then continuing the rest of the project with a different stitch. And I thought maybe doing a V stitch would be kind of nice, so I think I'm gonna do that. Okay, so instead of slip stitching here, because we're not gonna slip stitch, we're not gonna be doing the slit, so we're gonna just start the slit here. So this is gonna be the opening. So to do our next row, I'm just gonna do a chain of 3, because this is how you start the V stitch. I'm gonna turn this way, and I'm going to do, so the chain 3 here is the first the first 2 chains counts as a double crochet, and then a the third chain counts as a chain 1, and I'm gonna go into that same stitch here and complete a double crochet just like that. Okay, So we're gonna make this into our first V-stitch here. Doesn't look like it yet, but that's the point. And you may see that I'm using a different hook. This is the same size hook, so it's a 5mm crochet hook, just like the one I had in the previous clip. By the way, this is the one I had in the previous clip here. And I'm just changing it because this is plastic. So the more you use it, it starts to have this sticky feeling to it. It's almost like humid, so it starts to have a sticky feeling to it. And then when you work with your work, it's very kind of like there's a grainy feeling to it, like it's not smooth, like it doesn't pull out smoothly as the metal one does. And I didn't have this. I was traveling. I was somewhere else for a couple of months, so I was working because this is the only one I had brought because I have left my other one at home. So anyway, so it's the same size. I'm just a different hook that I'm using. In case you think I'm changing the hooks in between my work, is not that. I'm just changing the type of material that I'm using. All right, so and then I'm gonna skip 1, 2 in the third here. I'm gonna do a double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. So that's our V-stitch there. And then skip 2 in the third. I will do the same, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet. Okay, skip 2 stitches in the third, do the same. Okay, so you kind of get the idea here. We do the V stitches around, so this is how it should look like, something like that. And you're gonna do these all around until you come back to here. When you get back to here, come back to the video. I will show you how to start the next row, and then I will have you continue this until you have the length, which for me, I'm gonna do until I have it all the way down to my ankles. So that's the length that I'm going for. Okay, so work this row. When you get back to here, come back to the video. I will show you how to start the second row, and then I will have you repeat that. See you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my first row of the V-stitch here. So as you can see, that's pretty much how the first row looks like. I have my slit here, so I'm not gonna cross over to the other side, obviously. And I've done my last V-stitch here. I think this gap may be a little bit too much. I may just go into this space here and do another V-stitch because I would like the gap here to not be too gappy. So that way it's kind of like a little bit of a, you know, close enough. So I will do it like that, because otherwise if you want to leave it gappy like that, it will just make it so that the slit is a little bit gappy like that. And now that I have that, I'm gonna flip my work and kind of work backwards. And now, because we need to work the V-stitch in the middle here, I'm going to just go right into the middle and do a slip stitch. So just like that. Oops. Do my slip stitch in the middle like that. And then I'm going to do my chain of 3 and then go into the same gap where I did the slip stitch and complete a V-stitch. So again, my chain 3 counts as the first 2 chains are a double crochet, and then the third chain is a chain 1, and then this is a double crochet here. And then from there I will hop on to the V-stitch on from the previous row and complete a V-stitch just like that. Then I will hop over to the other V-stitch and do a V-stitch on top of that. And this yarn, just so you know, it's a little bit difficult to work with. You're probably not using the same yarn at all, but it's a yarn that is very stringy. Like it's like, look at just all the strings are kind of separate like that. So you can very easy, especially this color that is kind of twisted into it. It's very easy for this to be left behind, whether it's this part or whatever. But just to let you know, just work with it and be gentle and be kind of like patient with it. If you have the same yarn that is, most likely you don't. But I find myself having to be a little bit careful with it as I work, because like, look, sometimes I bring it through and it separates, and I leave some of the strings behind and things like that. So just be gentle while you work with a yarn like that. But anyway, so I just continue to work my V-stitches, and I'll come all the way to here. And when I get to here, maybe I will come back and show you guys what to do with this to complete this side here. And then I will have you guys work the rest of it, and pretty much you just repeat the same thing until the end. But I think what I will do is I will have you guys work the second row so I can show you how to work that, how to finish this side before we start the next row. Okay, I will see you guys when you get to this end here. Okay, my lovelies, so I have completed my second row in the V-stitch, and as you can see here, I have the final V-stitch here to work into. So I'm just gonna go ahead and just yarn over and go into that final stitch, the final place. I'm gonna do my chain one. Now, instead of going right into the stitch to do the V-stitch, I'm gonna go ahead and put it on top of that chain 3 that we had started the row with, so that it's more like this. Okay, so that's how I'm gonna be working this here. And then I'm gonna turn, because now we have to work the V-stitches the other way. I'm gonna turn and I'm gonna go into the middle and complete a slip stitch, and then I'm gonna do a chain of 3, and then I'm gonna do a V-stitch here. So chain 3, chain 2 is double crochet plus chain 1, that makes a V-stitch for the chain 1. And then I'm gonna hop again to the other side and complete my V-stitch on top of the V-stitch from the previous row. And then I'm gonna hop right into the V-stitch from the previous row and do a V-stitch. And then I'm just gonna do this again and just repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. So there's nothing else to show you guys here because it's just repeating the same thing over and over and over again, okay? So I'm gonna work mine until I have the length of this, or until I finish my yarn, because I have, I think I have 2 more balls of yarn, and if that takes me to the full length, then that's okay. But if it doesn't, then that's where I will stop, because I don't have any more of this yarn. Okay, so that's what I'm gonna do, and when I have completed that length, I will come back to the video to show you guys how it looks like. We're definitely gonna do a drawstring for this project, because I don't do this the half double crochets often to do the band, and because I did that, it's a very wide band. So I will definitely need a drawstring. So I will need to make sure I don't finish all the yarn to be able to do a drawstring for the skirt, so that I have something to be able to tie it on top so it stays up. Okay, but for now, just work at the bottom until you have the length that you desire, and then come back to the video. See you guys then. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and worked on the skirt here. So as you can see, this is where we started the V-stitch pattern in the bottom. So this is obviously the top here where we did our half double crochet, and then now we are at this section here. So as I said, I was going to work on this until I have either no yarn or until I reach the length that I wanted. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to reach the length that I wanted, because this is all I have left for the yarn. So I'm gonna leave this so I can do a long chain to use it as a strap, but otherwise this is as much as I could go, and this is ending up to be just a little bit below my knees, not a little bit, maybe halfway down the bottom part of my leg, so which is not that bad. I think it's actually, I tried it on, it looks good. And yeah, so, and this is the slit here. So as you know, from this section here down, we did work with a slit. So this is the slit here. It looks really nice. So yeah, obviously you will see, you have seen it in the pictures here. So I'm just gonna go ahead and end these here and cut these off, and then I will go ahead and do a long chain, well, maybe long, maybe not very long, using whatever I have left here. And then I will go ahead and show you guys how to be able to use these to put it in the waistband of your skirt, okay? So from here, I'm just gonna take my scissors and I'm gonna cut it somewhere here. I don't wanna waste too much of this yarn because I don't have too much of it left. And then I'm gonna go ahead and just kind of bring it like this and kind of pull. And I will weave that in just a little bit. But for now, I will just go ahead and put this on the side. And then I will quickly just show you how to do the strap. So for the strap, there's nothing too complicated. I just do a chain. That is, as long as this is gonna take me, because at this moment I don't think I have too much to kind of just leave. I think I will just do as long as this takes me. But anyways, I just do a long chain, and then I will show you guys how to go ahead and weave that into the waistband. Okay, so I'm just gonna start this here, and I'll have you guys do the same if you're looking to have a waistband. If you don't, or if you're looking to have a drawstring for your waistband, if you don't, then there's no need for this part of it, for you to sweep this part of it. So to do the chain, I just pretty much start like we do any other chain. I do my slip knot first, like that, and then I just go ahead and do a chain. I just go and do a chain that is as long as you want. I normally do about 200 to 250 depending on how long I want the strap to be. But in this case, whatever this is gonna get me, so it may be less than 200, it may be actually 150, something like that. Okay, so go ahead and just build your chain. When you have the length that you want, come back to the video. What I will also do while I'm off camera is I will weave in my ends here. So anywhere where I have strings hanging, I will weave in those ends, and that way when I come back, I will just show you how to install your drawstring, and then we should be able to be done with the project. Okay, so see you guys in a bit. Okay, my lovelies, so I have gone ahead and completed a strap here. I am lucky because this is actually gonna go around my waist and even extra. So with the amount of yarn that I had left, I was able to do a strap that is enough. I was a little bit worried that if it's not enough, I have to maybe undo one row of my skirt, but we're good. So we have this here. So then the next thing is we're going to kind of bring our darning needle in, and we're going to put the yarn or thread the yarn here, so that we can put these into the waistband of our skirt. Okay, so I just do something like this, and then what I will do is I will bring in my skirt. So determine what side you want to have as the outside of your skirt, because obviously when you do the drawstring, you want to be able to have it on the outside of your skirt. So determine that. With this project here, all sides look exactly the same, so in that way you don't have to kind of think too much about what side you want it to be outside, but you can decide that depending on what you're feeling like. And then as well, determine what side of your body, of your legs, you want the strap, the slit to be on. I like my slit often to be on the on the left leg. So then I decided that I will put it down like this, which is the side is on my right, but because when I put it on, it's gonna end up on the left. Okay. All right, now when you have determined all of that, you're going to determine what the center is of your skirt, of the front of your skirt. So in this case here, I'm just going to place it like this, and I'm going to determine that this is going to be my center right here. Okay, I hope you can see that. So this is gonna be the center here. So I just bring in my darning needle with my chain hooked in, and then I'm gonna just go in here, and I'm gonna start from here, and I'm just gonna loop these like this. Okay, so nothing too complicated. We're just looping it on top of the skirt here, and I just go and pull. Leave something like this because you want to be able to have your straps even on both sides. Okay, and you're just gonna go ahead and make sure you weave these along the top of your waistband here. And then as soon as you get to the other side, you will be done, and then we can just kind of make sure we even up the string. Okay, so go ahead. I would say leave this gap here about maybe 4 rows of the waistband, so that we have a place to be able to tie at the end. Okay, but I'm gonna go ahead and finish off by putting this around, and then I'll come back when I have completed that. Okay, my lovelies, so I just put the waistband, the string in the waistband here that will be able to help us bring our work in a little bit when we have it on, so our skirt is gonna fit on the waist just as good as it fits anywhere else. So like I said, I just left this gap here, and that way we can use this gap to be able to do our knot at the end. And also we have these loose strings here, so what I will do, actually I really like this. I usually cut these off at the end, but I think I like that this yarn has the strings that kind of fall like this. So I may just cut them a little bit, but not actually chop it off completely. So I may just do something and make them a little bit shorter by just cutting a little bit of it like this and just leaving this like this. I think I like that. Okay, so I leave them like this. But yeah, that's all you have to do. Weave in all of your ends, like I said, make sure everything is kind of looking nice and neat. And this is pretty much it. So when you have it on, you'll be able to pull it until it fits you properly, and then you can just do like a couple of knots here. You can do a bow tie if you know how to do these kind of different ways of tying things. You can make it so that it looks nice like this. Yeah, and that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna pretty much end the video here. Thank you so much for watching it to the end. I hope you guys had fun as much as I did making this one. It's a very nice looking skirt. I like the colors. I like this color kind of melody here of how the yarn is created to have these different colors like this. And I hope you guys did something similar, if not better. Thank you so much again. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, like, and share. And I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.